Hello from the black and white world, because we have another game that is beautiful in its non-colors.
Mostly non-color.
Actually, you're right, because this is really a unique game, because it's black and white with colors
With a color. The color of blood.
and some other action.
It's true.
Some lights. But this
Okay.
game is called Aztez,
Aztez.
and it's about Aztec.
World.
World?
Mythology.
Yeah.
Civilization.
And it's actually mixing two genres, because it's a lot of actions, a lot of action levels, and turn-based strategy.
Yeah. So it's like if civilization had every conflict resolved by a side-scroller 2D fighter.
It's actually three-dimensional, but you're right. Like it could be two-dimensional because it's only sides. And,
Semantics.
yeah. So this game is really, it's unique, yes, but is it a good game? That's a question.
It is a question. I really like the idea, and I mean, last week from the Epic Games, and by the way, this game, Aztez, is free this week from the Epic Games Store, and the games that we covered last week from the Epic Games were board games adopted to the digital form.
Yes.
And I feel like what Aztez is basically a board game that someone thought,
One part is a board
one
game.
part is a
Yeah.
board game, but it's like, it's hyped up. So it's an enhanced board game that actually has action parts to decide the moves on the board game.
Yeah.
I really like that idea.
The idea is great, and the actions are really, really action.
And hard.
I mean, at the beginning, it goes like one at a time. Like it goes like easy, or medium, and very soon it's going hard.
Pretty soon it's
But
very difficult.
there's like a lot of movements, many possibilities like in the movement, but it's two-dimensional, so it gets quite hard. And
I
since there's a lot of enemies, like waves of enemies, I actually got beat up pretty badly a few times, and game over is nothing like not up of the normal.
If you don't like get through quite a few difficult fights successfully, it means that you only have one fighter, and when he's dead, it's game over. He's dead.
I think like for the players, actually there's usually two types of players. If I can say, like, at least in this case, let's say there's two.
Listen carefully.
There's two types of players. One that is a thinker, that needs time to think and likes to plan and everything. And then there's the second category, and that is the action. That he does everything perfectly, moves fast with the fingers, and in this game you have to do it both perfectly to actually master it.
So both, you mean on the board game part, you have to be the thinker and
You have
strategist,
to be the thinker,
and in
yes.
the action fighting part,
you have
need
to be
have
really good
quick
at that,
reflexes
because
and-
if you're good only at one, you're
It's
finished.
true. The problem is, I think I agree with you that most players focus on one or other of those skills. I'm not a big reflex action FPS player. I'm more of a strategist and thinking.
Yeah.
Which means that for the board game part, I'm kind of intrigued by that, but then it's very important to be good at the combat also. So maybe it's the type of game that can't appeal to a lot of people because it appeals to half of your
I
profile.
think it's almost impossible to be like the best at both.
So you would say it's maybe too bold of an idea.
Yes,
That's interesting.
I would see it like as maybe almost two separate games. I mean, like the idea is great because I don't think like anybody did it before, or maybe only few did.
And those two parts of the game, if you separated them, they would both probably be interesting but quite simple games.
Yeah.
Putting them together is a great idea, but you're right that
agree.
is what leaves me a little bit cold, is that I really got into one part of it and kind of started to find the fighting action part to be more and more annoying. And for you, which part did you connect with?
I actually skipped the. I usually do like the strategic part, but this time I skipped it to just do the action.
Okay.
So there was like, it was basically for me, it was like an action game. but then it got too hard, and I probably didn't think it through. So, game over for me too.
There's so many things that I like about this game. That I mean, the sounds are atmospheric. I do, even though it's very stylized.
There's a lot of things I don't like about this game, especially the graphic. I don't like the black and white graphic.
Mikhail does not like black and white games.
Yes.
Mikhail likes colors.
I do like colors.
We've seen
Thank
this
you.
before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't like even the visual style. I know that a lot of people might disagree with me, but that's how I feel.
I like the visual style, but I would say that for the type of game and the fighting part, it really slows down. It really hinders playing the game precisely and well, because when you have waves of enemies coming at you, when they're all kind of on a faded black and white background, and they are black and white, it's very hard to be precise.
I mean, there's the blood color, and there's some like lines in the strategic part. Like it makes sense.
It works,
but it just doesn't work for me. So that's why I would not recommend this. Not because of the graphic, but as I said, the visual is not so great for me, and they're trying to put two things together that I'm not like perfect at.
Yeah,
and that's why I failed, and that's why I can't recommend this game.
How
about you?
Yeah, well, this is a great example of what you were talking about, because I think you would probably not recommend it because of how slow the strategy part is and some of the problems with the action. For me, it's more about that I really enjoyed the strategy part, but I felt like I was slowed down by the combat. And so that's a great example of the fact that we both had something that we liked, but since there was half of the game at least that we didn't like, I also would not recommend it. And I'm not sure that it's worth your time.
I understand why, because the time is precious. We have all this game on this channel.
Especially because this week we also got for free,
very colorful game,
lots of colors and many other things, Kingdom Come freaking Deliverance.
And Caleb is so excited about it that he decided to tell us in this video. But you're right. Maybe,
watch our other video about it. But that Kingdom Come Deliverance requires so much time and is so deep that your time is precious. It's hard to get excited about Aztez when it might require a number of hours to really master it, to get into it.
I mean, Aztez is like good for like even short play, because there's the action, so you can play it like a little bit there, and nothing really changes.
It's true.
You don't have to go so deep in it.
So maybe that influences my opinion also, but in general, I agree with you that I wouldn't recommend this one. A great idea, very creative. I applaud that. I don't think it's worth your time.
And since you already said that, we have many other games. We have one other game this week, but we have many like before and in the future. So that's why you should definitely subscribe to us and hit the bell button. Ding! And if you have something to tell us, please tell us, because we're interested in your opinion.
Yeah, please do.
Let's discuss this game or any other.
Or anything else that's going on in your life. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Deal.
We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.